Blow.
It's time to blow the candles and make a wish. It's time to blow the candles and make a wish. You blew it. You blew it.
Charge the phone.
I forgot to charge my phone, so it took them about 2 hours to track me down the next morning. I forgot to charge my phone, so it took them about 2 hours to track me down the next morning. I may not be able to boil electric kettles or iron clothes, but I can charge my phone and laptop. I may not be able to boil electric kettles or iron clothes, but I can charge my phone and laptop.
Approve.
I was hoping to get your approval. I was hoping to get your approval. Bob doesn't approve of alcohol. Bob doesn't approve of alcohol.
Swipe your card.
Swipe your card to open the door. Swipe your card to open the door. Swipe the screen to unlock. Swipe the screen to unlock.
Insert your card.
Please insert your credit card and enter your PIN. Please insert your credit card and enter your PIN. He inserted a sheet of paper into the printer. He inserted a sheet of paper into the printer.
Plant.
When should I plant the seeds? When should I plant the seeds? I've never planted trees before. I've never planted trees before.
Dig.
Who dug a hole here? Who dug a hole here? The worker uses a machine to dig the hole. The worker uses a machine to dig the hole.
Feed.
Did you feed the fish? Did you feed the fish? Bill is feeding the ducks. Bill is feeding the ducks.
Discharge.
Hospitals now tend to discharge patients earlier than in the past. Hospitals now tend to discharge patients earlier than in the past. He's due to be discharged from the hospital on Saturday. He's due to be discharged from the hospital on Saturday.
Hospitalize.
Sarah was hospitalized after a severe asthma attack. Sarah was hospitalized after a severe asthma attack. The doctor wants to hospitalize her for a few days so that he can run some tests. The doctor wants to hospitalize her for a few days so that he can run some tests.
Graduate.
Kate graduated from medical school last year. Kate graduated from medical school last year. She graduated in physics from Cambridge University. She graduated in physics from Cambridge University.
Enroll in school.
Classes began soon after we enrolled. Classes began soon after we enrolled. She enrolled at a Colorado community college. She enrolled at a Colorado community college.
Leave work.
Be ready to leave in half an hour. Be ready to leave in half an hour. I'm leaving for London tomorrow. I'm leaving for London tomorrow.
Cry.
It makes me want to cry. It makes me want to cry. I just couldn't stop crying. I just couldn't stop crying.
Laugh.
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? Tony laughed so much that she nearly cried. Tony laughed so much that she nearly cried.
Eat out.
Do you eat out a lot? Do you eat out a lot? We eat out all the time. We eat out all the time.
Sleep over.
Are your friends sleeping over tonight? Are your friends sleeping over tonight? Is it okay if I sleep over at Sean's house tomorrow night? Is it okay if I sleep over at Sean's house tomorrow night?
Slip.
I slipped and hit my head. I slipped and hit my head. He slipped on the ice. He slipped on the ice.
Fall down.
He stumbled and fell down. He stumbled and fell down. Walk carefully on this ice, or you will fall down. Walk carefully on this ice, or you will fall down.
Fill.
Shall I fill up your glass? Shall I fill up your glass? She poured him a drink, then filled her own glass. She poured him a drink, then filled her own glass.
Refill.
Can I refill anyone's glass? Can I refill anyone's glass? The waitress refilled our coffee cups. The waitress refilled our coffee cups.
Bow.
Let's take a bow. Let's take a bow. She bowed before the king. She bowed before the king.
Nod.
I asked her if she was okay, and she nodded. I asked her if she was okay, and she nodded. She nodded to us as she walked by. She nodded to us as she walked by.
Bend down.
Emma bent over to pick up the coins. Emma bent over to pick up the coins. I bent down to lift the box off the floor. I bent down to lift the box off the floor.
Kneel down.
Jane knelt down and patted the dog. Jane knelt down and patted the dog. He told them to kneel, then began to say a prayer. He told them to kneel, then began to say a prayer.
Grab.
I grabbed my bag and ran off. I grabbed my bag and ran off. Let's go grab a beer or something. Let's go grab a beer or something.
Catch.
Did you catch any fish? Did you catch any fish? You'll catch a cold. You'll catch a cold.
Throw.
Don't throw the ball in the house. Don't throw the ball in the house. Throw me the ball. Throw me the ball.
Lean on the desk.
Don't lean on the wall. Don't lean on the wall. He leaned back in his chair. He leaned back in his chair.
Push the button.
He used his thumb to push the button. He used his thumb to push the button. I got in and pushed the button for the 4th floor. I got in and pushed the button for the 4th floor.
Send.
I sent you a letter. I sent you a letter. I'll send a copy to you. I'll send a copy to you.
Attach.
A copy of my resume is attached to this letter. A copy of my resume is attached to this letter. Attach a recent photograph to your application form. Attach a recent photograph to your application form.
Check.
I can't check my email. The server is down. I can't check my email. The server is down. Check it out. Check it out.
Share.
We don't have enough books, so you'll have to share. We don't have enough books, so you'll have to share. You'll have to share your toys with your little brother. You'll have to share your toys with your little brother.
Follow.
Are you following me? Are you following me? I'm being followed. I'm being followed.
Create.
Try to create a good impression. Try to create a good impression. Her behavior is creating a lot of problems. Her behavior is creating a lot of problems.
Cancel.
I'm waiting for a cancellation. I'm waiting for a cancellation. I forgot to cancel my doctor's appointment. I forgot to cancel my doctor's appointment.
Sign in.
Users must sign in before using the site. Users must sign in before using the site. Remember to sign in at reception. Remember to sign in at reception.
Sign up.
I'm thinking of signing up for a yoga course. I'm thinking of signing up for a yoga course. Kathy signed up for the soccer team this year. Kathy signed up for the soccer team this year.
Fix.
Can you fix this for me by tomorrow? Can you fix this for me by tomorrow? We have to get our TV fixed. We have to get our TV fixed.
Recover.
She's recovering well. She's recovering well. He couldn't recover from the shock. He couldn't recover from the shock.
Restore.
How long did it take you to restore it? How long did it take you to restore it? The paintings were restored to their original beauty. The paintings were restored to their original beauty.
Repair.
I'm sure we can have this repaired. I'm sure we can have this repaired. I want to learn how to repair shoes. I want to learn how to repair shoes.
Renew.
I need to renew my passport this year. I need to renew my passport this year. The window frames need to be renewed. The window frames need to be renewed.
Delete.
I deleted the file by mistake. I deleted the file by mistake. His name was deleted from the list. His name was deleted from the list.
Back up.
These devices can back up the whole system. These devices can back up the whole system. Back all your files up onto a storage device or cloud. Back all your files up onto a storage device or cloud.
Paste.
Data can be pasted into word processing documents. Data can be pasted into word processing documents. A notice had been pasted to the door. A notice had been pasted to the door.
Copy.
Copy all the files onto disk. Copy all the files onto disk. Copy the files into a new folder. Copy the files into a new folder.
Download.
Download your favorite songs by clicking here. Download your favorite songs by clicking here. I downloaded the games from the internet for free. I downloaded the games from the internet for free.
Upload.
It might take a while for this to upload. It might take a while for this to upload. She uploaded the pictures from her digital camera to her computer. She uploaded the pictures from her digital camera to her computer.
Look it up.
I could look it up if you like. I could look it up if you like. I'll look up your file. I'll look up your file.
Watch.
We'll watch movies for whole 3 days. We'll watch movies for whole 3 days. I watch you on TV every night. I watch you on TV every night.
Play.
Let's play fair. Let's play fair. How come you're playing without me? How come you're playing without me?
Listen.
I like listening to the radio. I like listening to the radio. We sat around listening to music. We sat around listening to music.
Read.
When I was young, I read every one of his books from cover to cover. When I was young, I read every one of his books from cover to cover. I can't read your writing. I can't read your writing.
Ride.
She learned to ride when she was 7. She learned to ride when she was 7. She had never learned to ride a bicycle. She had never learned to ride a bicycle.
Stop by.
Daniel stopped by the pharmacy on his way home. Daniel stopped by the pharmacy on his way home. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by.
Call.
Would you call a taxi for me? Would you call a taxi for me? Did you call me earlier? Did you call me earlier?
Catch.
Do you think we can catch the plane? Do you think we can catch the plane? I got up early to catch the first train. I got up early to catch the first train.
Park.
I couldn't find anywhere to park. I couldn't find anywhere to park. She parked the car on the drive. She parked the car on the drive.
Slow down.
Slow down, you're driving too fast. Slow down, you're driving too fast. Slow down, you're breaking the speed limit. Slow down, you're breaking the speed limit.
Speed up.
Nancy, if you don't speed up, we'll be here until midnight. Nancy, if you don't speed up, we'll be here until midnight. He pushed a lever that speeded up the car. He pushed a lever that speeded up the car.
Drive.
I'll drive you to the station. I'll drive you to the station. Let's go for a drive, shall we? Let's go for a drive, shall we?
Buckle the seatbelt.
Danny buckled the belt around his waist. Danny buckled the belt around his waist. When you buckle a belt or strap, you fasten it. When you buckle a belt or strap, you fasten it.
Stand up.
I've been standing up all day. I've been standing up all day. Stand up straight and don't slouch. Stand up straight and don't slouch.
Sit down.
Sit yourself down and have a drink. Sit yourself down and have a drink. Amy sat down in the chair. Amy sat down in the chair.
Exercise.
I never exercise these days. I never exercise these days. It's important to exercise regularly. It's important to exercise regularly.
Hang up.
I said goodbye and hung up. I said goodbye and hung up. Don't hang up on me. Don't hang up on me.
Talk.
We talked of old times. We talked of old times. Nice talking to you. Nice talking to you.
Answer.
Will you answer the phone? Will you answer the phone? She thought for a moment before answering. She thought for a moment before answering.
Hug.
Give me a hug. Give me a hug. She went to her daughter and hugged her tightly. She went to her daughter and hugged her tightly.
Pinch.
We have to stop her pinching her little brother. We have to stop her pinching her little brother. He pinched her cheek. He pinched her cheek.
Wash.
It's your turn to wash the dishes. It's your turn to wash the dishes. Go wash your hands for dinner. Go wash your hands for dinner.
Spill.
Careful, you'll spill it. Careful, you'll spill it. I had to handle it carefully to keep from spilling it on myself. I had to handle it carefully to keep from spilling it on myself.
Steam.
Steam the vegetables lightly. Steam the vegetables lightly. Do you want me to steam the broccoli? Do you want me to steam the broccoli?
Boil.
The water's boiling. The water's boiling. The kettle's boiling. Shall I turn it off? The kettle's boiling. Shall I turn it off?
Simmer.
Simmer the macaroni in lightly salted water. Simmer the macaroni in lightly salted water. Bring the stew to a boil, then let it simmer for 20 minutes. Bring the stew to a boil, then let it simmer for 20 minutes.
Flip.
He flipped the pancakes over with one smooth movement. He flipped the pancakes over with one smooth movement. They flipped a coin to decide who would speak first. They flipped a coin to decide who would speak first.
Bake.
Did you bake this pies? Did you bake this pies? I'm baking some bread. I'm baking some bread.
Stir fry.
Add the garlic, ginger, and onions and stir fry for 30 seconds. Add the garlic, ginger, and onions and stir fry for 30 seconds. Stir fry the chicken for 1 minute, then add the vegetables. Stir fry the chicken for 1 minute, then add the vegetables.
Stir.
Could you stir the spaghetti sauce for me? Could you stir the spaghetti sauce for me? She stirred her coffee with a plastic spoon. She stirred her coffee with a plastic spoon.
Deep fry.
Deep fry the potatoes in small batches until golden brown. Deep fry the potatoes in small batches until golden brown. Deep fry them until crispy and lightly golden in color. Deep fry them until crispy and lightly golden in color.
Blend.
Blend all the ingredients together. Blend all the ingredients together. Blend the sugar, eggs, and flour. Blend the sugar, eggs, and flour.
Mash.
Boil the potatoes and then mash them up. Boil the potatoes and then mash them up. Mash the mixture with a fork. Mash the mixture with a fork.
Roll.
Pizza dough should be rolled thinly. Pizza dough should be rolled thinly. Use a rolling pin to roll the dough into a 12-inch square. Use a rolling pin to roll the dough into a 12-inch square.
Add.
I'd like to add some more sugar to my coffee. I'd like to add some more sugar to my coffee. I think you need to add a little more salt. I think you need to add a little more salt.
Sprinkle.
Sprinkle the top with cheese. Sprinkle the top with cheese. Sprinkle chocolate on top of the cake. Sprinkle chocolate on top of the cake.
Crush.
Use a pestle and mortar to crush the spices. Use a pestle and mortar to crush the spices. Joe crushed his cigarette into an ashtray. Joe crushed his cigarette into an ashtray.
Squeeze.
Squeeze the lemons and pour the juice into a jug. Squeeze the lemons and pour the juice into a jug. Alice squeezed the wet sponge. Alice squeezed the wet sponge.
Cool down.
He waited for the soup to cool down a bit. He waited for the soup to cool down a bit. Let the cookies cool down before you try them. Let the cookies cool down before you try them.
Drain.
You have to drain out all the water first. You have to drain out all the water first. Can you drain the spaghetti, please? Can you drain the spaghetti, please?
Mix.
Mix the flour and water together. Mix the flour and water together. Mix the soured cream with ketchup. Mix the soured cream with ketchup.
Sift.
Sift the flour and baking powder into a mixing bowl. Sift the flour and baking powder into a mixing bowl. Sift the flour finely before adding it to the mixture. Sift the flour finely before adding it to the mixture.
Grind.
Could you grind up some coffee for me? Could you grind up some coffee for me? Grind some black pepper over the salad. Grind some black pepper over the salad.
Grate.
Grate the cheese and sprinkle it over the tomatoes. Grate the cheese and sprinkle it over the tomatoes. Peel and grate the potatoes. Peel and grate the potatoes.
Peel.
Please peel an apple for me. Please peel an apple for me. Could you peel an orange for me? Could you peel an orange for me?
Chop.
Chop the carrots up into small pieces. Chop the carrots up into small pieces. Chop the meat into cubes before frying it. Chop the meat into cubes before frying it.
Slice.
Slice up the onions and add them to the meat. Slice up the onions and add them to the meat. Slice the tomatoes about 1 4-inch thick. Slice the tomatoes about 1 4-inch thick.
Cut.
Cut the vegetables into thin strips. Cut the vegetables into thin strips. Do not cut down the tree that gives you shade. Do not cut down the tree that gives you shade.
Dip.
He dipped his hand in the water. He dipped his hand in the water. Dip the strawberries into melted chocolate. Dip the strawberries into melted chocolate.
Pour.
Shall I pour you some more coffee? Shall I pour you some more coffee? She poured some milk into a glass. She poured some milk into a glass.
Run out of salt.
We ran out of gas on the freeway last night. We ran out of gas on the freeway last night. We've run out of milk. Could you stop at the store on your way home? We've run out of milk. Could you stop at the store on your way home?
Fold.
Will you help me fold up the clothes? Will you help me fold up the clothes? Fold up your clothes, don't just throw them on the floor. Fold up your clothes, don't just throw them on the floor.
Bring in.
Could you take the baby? I need to bring in the washing. Could you take the baby? I need to bring in the washing. Would you bring it in at once? Would you bring it in at once?
Dry.
Mary dried her hands. Mary dried her hands. He was drying his hair with a towel. He was drying his hair with a towel.
Hang up.
Why don't you hang up your clothes? Why don't you hang up your clothes? How many times have I told you to hang up your clothes? How many times have I told you to hang up your clothes?
Wring out.
Wring those wet things out. Wring those wet things out. Please wring all the water from the soaking wet shirt. Please wring all the water from the soaking wet shirt.
Pick up.
Can you pick up the pen for me? Can you pick up the pen for me? The phone rang and I picked it up. The phone rang and I picked it up.
Air out.
Can I open the window air out the room? Can I open the window air out the room? We will air out the house. We will air out the house.
Sweep.
Will you sweep the floor? Will you sweep the floor? I just finished sweeping the kitchen floor. I just finished sweeping the kitchen floor.
Mop.
Dan has to mop the floor of the cafe every night. Dan has to mop the floor of the cafe every night. I just mopped the kitchen floor. I just mopped the kitchen floor.
Wipe.
Wipe the table with a damp cloth. Wipe the table with a damp cloth. Ask the waitress to wipe off the table. Ask the waitress to wipe off the table.
Dust off.
Please dust off the window and sill. Please dust off the window and sill. It's time to dust off the old chemistry books and start studying. It's time to dust off the old chemistry books and start studying.
Vacuum.
Have you vacuumed the carpets? Have you vacuumed the carpets? I have to vacuum my room. I have to vacuum my room.
Clean.
Let's clean up the mess. Let's clean up the mess. Make sure you clean behind the stove. Make sure you clean behind the stove.
Sip.
She was sitting at the table sipping her coffee. She was sitting at the table sipping her coffee. She sipped at her wine with pleasure. She sipped at her wine with pleasure.
Pull.
Can you pull the rope tight? Can you pull the rope tight? He pulled his wallet out of his pocket. He pulled his wallet out of his pocket.
Push.
Don't push me. Don't push me. I slowly pushed the door open. I slowly pushed the door open.
Unlock.
Unlock the door. We can't get out. Unlock the door. We can't get out. You unlock the front door of your house. You unlock the front door of your house.
Lock.
Don't forget to lock the door. Don't forget to lock the door. As she left the house, she locked the door. As she left the house, she locked the door.
Knock.
We knocked at the door, but there was no one there. We knocked at the door, but there was no one there. I knocked and knocked, but nobody answered. I knocked and knocked, but nobody answered.
Close.
I'm sorry. Would you close the door, please? I'm sorry. Would you close the door, please? Would you mind if I closed the window? Would you mind if I closed the window?
Open.
Would you open this door for a minute, please? Would you open this door for a minute, please? Why don't we open the box? Why don't we open the box?
Move out.
Are you ready to move out? Are you ready to move out? Tom moved out of his apartment in Toronto last month. Tom moved out of his apartment in Toronto last month.
Move in.
When are you moving in? When are you moving in? Stevie's going to move in with her. Stevie's going to move in with her.
Move.
They've moved into bigger offices in London. They've moved into bigger offices in London. When are you moving to Memphis? When are you moving to Memphis?
Deliver.
Can you get lasagna delivered to my house? Can you get lasagna delivered to my house? Could I have this suit delivered to my house? Could I have this suit delivered to my house?
Unload.
The driver unloaded some boxes from the back of the truck. The driver unloaded some boxes from the back of the truck. They unloaded the books from the truck. They unloaded the books from the truck.
Track.
Police have been tracking the 4 criminals all over Central America. Police have been tracking the 4 criminals all over Central America. The detectives tracked the killer to Arizona. The detectives tracked the killer to Arizona.
Delay.
The flight has been delayed. The flight has been delayed. The train was delayed 1 hour by the accident. The train was delayed 1 hour by the accident.
Ship.
A new computer was shipped to him within 2 weeks. A new computer was shipped to him within 2 weeks. I had my car shipped out to me. I had my car shipped out to me.
Load.
He loaded up the car with camping gear. He loaded up the car with camping gear. Emma loaded all the groceries into the car. Emma loaded all the groceries into the car.
Carry.
Can you carry this bag for me? Can you carry this bag for me? Gina was carrying a small bunch of flowers. Gina was carrying a small bunch of flowers.
Cancel.
I called and canceled the order. I called and canceled the order. Our flight was canceled. Our flight was canceled.
Order.
I've ordered a new computer from the supplier. I've ordered a new computer from the supplier. We had ordered a pale blue armchair, but the one that was delivered was dark green. We had ordered a pale blue armchair, but the one that was delivered was dark green.
Dance.
Come on, let's dance. Come on, let's dance. Everyone got up and danced. Everyone got up and danced.
Sing.
She can sing beautifully. She can sing beautifully. We had a great time singing some of the old songs. We had a great time singing some of the old songs.
Glue.
Can you glue the broken vase together? Can you glue the broken vase together? We must glue the mat down at the edges to stop it curling. We must glue the mat down at the edges to stop it curling.
Cut out.
The children were cutting out squares from the scraps of material. The children were cutting out squares from the scraps of material. I cut out the article and pasted it in my scrapbook. I cut out the article and pasted it in my scrapbook.
Paint.
Paint the walls in a contrasting color. Paint the walls in a contrasting color. Did you paint this picture? Did you paint this picture?
Color.
I can color all of that one. I can color all of that one. John loves to color. John loves to color.
Draw.
Katie had drawn a cottage with a little stream running next to it. Katie had drawn a cottage with a little stream running next to it. I've never been able to draw very well. I've never been able to draw very well.
Clap.
One man began to clap, and others joined in. One man began to clap, and others joined in. John clapped his hands, and a servant entered. John clapped his hands, and a servant entered.
Write down.
She asks me if I have written it down. She asks me if I have written it down. This is the address. Do you want to write it down? This is the address. Do you want to write it down?
Raise.
Raise your hand if you know the right answer. Raise your hand if you know the right answer. Can you raise the lamp so I can see? Can you raise the lamp so I can see?
Shake hands.
He shook my hand warmly. He shook my hand warmly. Wilkins shook hands with him. Wilkins shook hands with him.
Wave.
Who's that waving at you? Who's that waving at you? Nelson was waving from the upstairs window. Nelson was waving from the upstairs window.
Hold.
I held the baby in my arms. I held the baby in my arms. Could you hold my bag for me? Could you hold my bag for me?
Exchange.
This shirt is too big. Can I exchange it? This shirt is too big. Can I exchange it? Where can I exchange my dollars for pounds? Where can I exchange my dollars for pounds?
Return.
I returned the books to the library unread. I returned the books to the library unread. Cindy returned the notebook to her bag. Cindy returned the notebook to her bag.
Pay. Can I pay by credit card? Can I pay by credit card? How would you like to pay? How would you like to pay? Try. I'd like to try this on. I'd like to try this on. Try this salad. Try this salad. Look. What are you looking for? What are you looking for? I looked everywhere but Jimmy was nowhere to be found. I looked everywhere but Jimmy was nowhere to be found. Turn off. Turn off the lights when you go to bed. Turn off the lights when you go to bed. Don't forget to turn the lights off when you leave. Don't forget to turn the lights off when you leave. Turn on. Turn on the washing machine. Turn on the washing machine. I can't see a thing. Turn on the flashlight. I can't see a thing. Turn on the flashlight. Drink. Stop drinking alcohol and caffeine. Stop drinking alcohol and caffeine. When you exercise, drink lots of water. When you exercise, drink lots of water. Study. Did you study for the test? Did you study for the test? I can't study with that music playing all the time. I can't study with that music playing all the time. Work. I need to work all night. I need to work all night. Sally isn't working tomorrow. Sally isn't working tomorrow. Ask. Can I ask you something? Can I ask you something? Can I ask you a personal question? Can I ask you a personal question? Point. He stood up and pointed his finger at me. He stood up and pointed his finger at me. She pointed in the direction of the car park. She pointed in the direction of the car park. Teach. What subject do you teach? What subject do you teach? He taught geography at the local secondary school. He taught geography at the local secondary school. Run. He was running towards the door. He was running towards the door. She turned and ran away. She turned and ran away. Get off. I get off from work about 5 o'clock. I get off from work about 5 o'clock. She gets off from work later than I do. She gets off from work later than I do. Get on. She's old and needs help getting on and off the bus. She's old and needs help getting on and off the bus. Get on a number 73 bus at the corner. That will take you to Islington High Street. Get on a number 73 bus at the corner. That will take you to Islington High Street. Cross. It's easy to have an accident just crossing the road. It's easy to have an accident just crossing the road. He was hit by a car when he tried to cross over the road near Euston Station. He was hit by a car when he tried to cross over the road near Euston Station. Walk. I take a walk every day. I take a walk every day. Would you walk ahead of me? Would you walk ahead of me? Swallow. The baby swallowed a seed. The baby swallowed a seed. If you drink some water, it will make the pills easier to swallow. If you drink some water, it will make the pills easier to swallow. Chew. Chew your food well. Chew your food well. This meat's so tough I can hardly chew it. This meat's so tough I can hardly chew it. Eat. Eat it while it's hot. Eat it while it's hot. We had just started eating breakfast when the phone rang. We had just started eating breakfast when the phone rang. Take off. Take off the mask. I know it's you. Take off the mask. I know it's you. The plane took off at high speed. The plane took off at high speed. Put on. He took off his uniform and put on a sweater and trousers. He took off his uniform and put on a sweater and trousers. I'll have to put my glasses on. I can't read the sign from here. I'll have to put my glasses on. I can't read the sign from here. Tie. Can you tie your shoelaces by yourself? Can you tie your shoelaces by yourself? I tie my hair back when I'm jogging. I tie my hair back when I'm jogging. Change. You'd better go and get changed. You'd better go and get changed. I bathed her and changed her diaper. I bathed her and changed her diaper. Shoulder. I always shoulder my bag carefully to avoid any strain on my back while carrying it. I always shoulder my bag carefully to avoid any strain on my back while carrying it. He shouldered his axe and began walking into the woods. He shouldered his axe and began walking into the woods. Iron. Have you ironed my shirt? Have you ironed my shirt? I need to iron a few shirts for my trip. I need to iron a few shirts for my trip. Shave. You need to shave. You need to shave. Why did you shave off your beard? Why did you shave off your beard? Remove. Will you remove your glasses? Will you remove your glasses? He removed his hat and gloves. He removed his hat and gloves. Braid. She was in riding dress, and had braided her hair. She was in riding dress, and had braided her hair. It took an hour and a half to braid properly. It took an hour and a half to braid properly. Rinse. Leave the shampoo for 2 minutes, then rinse it off with warm water. Leave the shampoo for 2 minutes, then rinse it off with warm water. Let me just rinse my hands. Let me just rinse my hands. Get up. We didn't get up until lunchtime. We didn't get up until lunchtime. He got up and walked over to the window. He got up and walked over to the window. Wake up. James usually wakes up early. James usually wakes up early. I'll wake you up when it's time to leave. I'll wake you up when it's time to leave. Advise. She needed someone to advise her. She needed someone to advise her. Evans advised him to leave London. Evans advised him to leave London. Agree. We agreed to meet again the following Monday. We agreed to meet again the following Monday. We agreed a new 4-year contract. We agreed a new 4-year contract. Aim. We're aiming for a big improvement. We're aiming for a big improvement. Denver aimed his gun but did not shoot. Denver aimed his gun but did not shoot. Announce. A government spokesman announced that the hostages had been released. A government spokesman announced that the hostages had been released. At the end of their meeting, it was announced that an agreement had been reached. At the end of their meeting, it was announced that an agreement had been reached. Apologize. I'm so sorry, I do apologize. I'm so sorry, I do apologize. He later apologized for his behavior. He later apologized for his behavior. Arrange. Ben arranged the flowers in a vase. Ben arranged the flowers in a vase. The children were arranged in lines according to height. The children were arranged in lines according to height. Arrive. Give me a call to let me know you've arrived safely. Give me a call to let me know you've arrived safely. What time does the plane arrive in New York? What time does the plane arrive in New York? Ask. Don't ask him. He won't know anything about it. Don't ask him. He won't know anything about it. I just asked him where he lived. I just asked him where he lived. Answer. He thought for a moment before answering. He thought for a moment before answering. Answer as many questions as possible in the time provided. Answer as many questions as possible in the time provided. Attract. I guess it was her eyes that attracted me first. I guess it was her eyes that attracted me first. Leftover foods attracts flies. Leftover foods attracts flies. Avoid. Everyone seemed to be avoiding Nick. Everyone seemed to be avoiding Nick. Pregnant women should avoid certain foods such as raw eggs. Pregnant women should avoid certain foods such as raw eggs. Bath. He had a bath and then went to bed. He had a bath and then went to bed. Can I take a bath? Can I take a bath? Beg. Listen to me, I beg of you. Listen to me, I beg of you. I begged Helen to stay, but she wouldn't listen. I begged Helen to stay, but she wouldn't listen. Begin. I began teaching in 1984. I began teaching in 1984. Shall we begin with a prayer? Shall we begin with a prayer? Believe. I don't believe he's only 25. I don't believe he's only 25. I believed him, even though his story sounded unlikely. I believed him, even though his story sounded unlikely. Bite. The dog bit him and made his leg bleed. The dog bit him and made his leg bleed. I wish I could stop biting my nails. I wish I could stop biting my nails. Build. The purpose is to build new houses for local people. The purpose is to build new houses for local people. The road took many years to build. The road took many years to build. Bounce. The kids were bouncing a ball against the wall. The kids were bouncing a ball against the wall. Lynn was bouncing on the trampoline. Lynn was bouncing on the trampoline. Borrow. You are allowed to borrow 6 books from the library at a time. You are allowed to borrow 6 books from the library at a time. Can I borrow your pen for a minute? Can I borrow your pen for a minute? Break. I had to break a window to get into the house. I had to break a window to get into the house. He broke the biscuit in half and handed 1 piece to me. He broke the biscuit in half and handed 1 piece to me. Burn. I burnt all his old letters. I burnt all his old letters. Make sure the iron isn't too hot or you'll burn the cloth. Make sure the iron isn't too hot or you'll burn the cloth. Buy. It's cheaper to buy direct from the manufacturer. It's cheaper to buy direct from the manufacturer. Let me buy you a drink. Let me buy you a drink. Call. I'll call you soon. I'll call you soon. She calls her mother every couple of days. She calls her mother every couple of days. Change. The leaves on trees change color in the autumn. The leaves on trees change color in the autumn. She changed jobs in May. She changed jobs in May. Choose. I don't mind which one we have you choose. I don't mind which one we have you choose. Choose whichever of them you like best. Choose whichever of them you like best. Climb. Harry climbed the stairs. Harry climbed the stairs. Boys were climbing trees along the river bank. Boys were climbing trees along the river bank. Come. Come a little closer. Come a little closer. Can you come here for a minute? Can you come here for a minute? Communicate. We communicated mostly by email. We communicated mostly by email. People use more than words when they communicate with each other. People use more than words when they communicate with each other. Compete. She and her sister are always competing for attention. She and her sister are always competing for attention. How many runners will be competing in the marathon? How many runners will be competing in the marathon? Complete. The final piece of the puzzle will complete the picture. The final piece of the puzzle will complete the picture. Please complete the form by filling in all the required fields. Please complete the form by filling in all the required fields. Compose. The musician will compose a new song for the album. The musician will compose a new song for the album. He enjoys composing melodies that evoke emotions. He enjoys composing melodies that evoke emotions. Continue. He will continue playing the mobile game until he reaches the next level. He will continue playing the mobile game until he reaches the next level. Despite the rain, the players will continue the soccer match. Despite the rain, the players will continue the soccer match. Copy. He will try to copy his seatmates' answers during the test. He will try to copy his seatmates' answers during the test. She will carefully copy the recipe into her cooking journal. She will carefully copy the recipe into her cooking journal. Cost. The groceries cost me more than I expected this week. The groceries cost me more than I expected this week. She realized the total cost of the groceries after adding up the prices at the checkout. She realized the total cost of the groceries after adding up the prices at the checkout. Cook. She will cook dinner for the entire family tonight. She will cook dinner for the entire family tonight. The chef will cook up a special menu for the event. The chef will cook up a special menu for the event. Count. He learned to count by using his fingers as a visual aid. He learned to count by using his fingers as a visual aid. He likes to count by pointing to each object with his fingers. He likes to count by pointing to each object with his fingers. Crawl. The baby will learn to crawl before walking. The baby will learn to crawl before walking. He often crawls under the table to hide. He often crawls under the table to hide. Damage. The accident caused significant damage to the car. The accident caused significant damage to the car. The storm will damage the roof of the house. The storm will damage the roof of the house. Decide. She decided to have fruits instead of cake. She decided to have fruits instead of cake. He will decide between pizza or pasta for dinner tonight. He will decide between pizza or pasta for dinner tonight. Destroy. The hurricane could destroy many homes in its path. The hurricane could destroy many homes in its path. War has the potential to destroy entire cities. War has the potential to destroy entire cities. Disagree. They often disagree on political issues. They often disagree on political issues. Please speak up if you disagree with the decision. Please speak up if you disagree with the decision. Discover. The explorers hope to discover new lands. The explorers hope to discover new lands. Scientists may discover a breakthrough in medical research. Scientists may discover a breakthrough in medical research. Dive. She will dive into the pool gracefully from the diving board. She will dive into the pool gracefully from the diving board. He likes to dive underwater to explore the coral reef. He likes to dive underwater to explore the coral reef. Do. She will do her homework before going to bed. She will do her homework before going to bed. They decided to do the chores together to finish them quickly. They decided to do the chores together to finish them quickly. Drag. The thief attempted to drag the heavy bag of stolen money. The thief attempted to drag the heavy bag of stolen money. They had to drag the heavy boxes across the room. They had to drag the heavy boxes across the room. Dream. He often dreams about exploring distant planets while sleeping. He often dreams about exploring distant planets while sleeping. She loves to dream about traveling the world someday. She loves to dream about traveling the world someday. Eat. She tends to eat fast when she's hungry. She tends to eat fast when she's hungry. Please eat slowly and savor the flavors of the meal. Please eat slowly and savor the flavors of the meal. Enjoy. They always enjoy spending time together as a family. They always enjoy spending time together as a family. They plan to enjoy the concert this weekend. They plan to enjoy the concert this weekend. Expect. They expect a heavy rainstorm to arrive tomorrow afternoon. They expect a heavy rainstorm to arrive tomorrow afternoon. She didn't expect the surprise birthday party thrown by her friends. She didn't expect the surprise birthday party thrown by her friends. Feel. They feel calm when listening to music. They feel calm when listening to music. He feels sad when it rains all day. He feels sad when it rains all day. Find. I hope to find my lost keys soon. I hope to find my lost keys soon. He finds a shiny coin on the sidewalk. He finds a shiny coin on the sidewalk. Finish. They finish their homework before dinner. They finish their homework before dinner. He finishes his work early today. He finishes his work early today. Fish. He fishes for trout in the lake. He fishes for trout in the lake. He fishes patiently and finally hooks a base. He fishes patiently and finally hooks a base. Fly. The bird can fly high in the sky. The bird can fly high in the sky. The kite begins to fly in the breeze. The kite begins to fly in the breeze. Forget. Please don't forget your umbrella. Please don't forget your umbrella. I always forget my keys when I'm in a hurry. I always forget my keys when I'm in a hurry. Get. Let me get the apples from the fruit basket for a snack. Let me get the apples from the fruit basket for a snack. Could you get the mail from the mailbox, please? Could you get the mail from the mailbox, please? Give. She gives a lovely pink flower to her mother. She gives a lovely pink flower to her mother. With a smile, he gives a colorful gift box to his little brother. With a smile, he gives a colorful gift box to his little brother. Hate. She hates the way he always interrupts during conversations. She hates the way he always interrupts during conversations. I hate missing important deadlines. I hate missing important deadlines. Have. I have a dog named Max. I have a dog named Max. I have a ball that I use for playing fetch with my dog. I have a ball that I use for playing fetch with my dog. Help. He helps the girl stand up after she tripped. He helps the girl stand up after she tripped. She gladly offers to help the elderly woman with her plastic bag. She gladly offers to help the elderly woman with her plastic bag. Hear. I hear birds chirping outside. I hear birds chirping outside. I hear music playing from the next room. I hear music playing from the next room. Hurry. Hurry up, or we'll miss the bus. Hurry up, or we'll miss the bus. Please hurry, the movie is about to start. Please hurry, the movie is about to start. Injure. He injures his knee while playing basketball. He injures his knee while playing basketball. She injures her leg when she falls off her bike. She injures her leg when she falls off her bike. Introduce. She introduces her boyfriend to her mother during dinner. She introduces her boyfriend to her mother during dinner. He introduces his best friend to his parents. He introduces his best friend to his parents. Invite. She invites her colleagues to the office party. She invites her colleagues to the office party. They invite relatives to their daughter's birthday celebration. They invite relatives to their daughter's birthday celebration. Invent. She invents a helpful robot to assist with household chores. She invents a helpful robot to assist with household chores. They invent a new type of solar-powered device. They invent a new type of solar-powered device. Jog. I jog every morning for exercise. I jog every morning for exercise. He jogs around the park in the evening. He jogs around the park in the evening. No. I know the answer to that question. I know the answer to that question. Sarah knows how to speak many languages. Sarah knows how to speak many languages. Learn. I learn new things every day. I learn new things every day. We will learn about astronomy next week. We will learn about astronomy next week. Lend. She lends books to her friends often. She lends books to her friends often. They lent money to their neighbor. They lent money to their neighbor. Leave. She lives with her family in the suburbs. She lives with her family in the suburbs. I live in a small town near the mountains. I live in a small town near the mountains. Love. Sarah and Jack love each other deeply and support one another. Sarah and Jack love each other deeply and support one another. I love spending time with my family. I love spending time with my family. Lose. Tom often loses his sense of direction while hiking in the woods. Tom often loses his sense of direction while hiking in the woods. John loses whenever he plays at challenging game online. John loses whenever he plays at challenging game online. Meet. We will meet for lunch tomorrow. We will meet for lunch tomorrow. I meet my friends at the cafe every weekend. I meet my friends at the cafe every weekend. Offer. John offered his friend a cup of coffee when they met at the cafe. John offered his friend a cup of coffee when they met at the cafe. Bill offered a comfortable chair to the elderly woman. Bill offered a comfortable chair to the elderly woman. Obey. I offered a treat as a reward when my dog obeyed my command to sit. I offered a treat as a reward when my dog obeyed my command to sit. She obeys her parents' instructions. She obeys her parents' instructions. Pass. I pass the ball to my teammates during the game. I pass the ball to my teammates during the game. He was relieved to pass the exam after spending long hours studying. He was relieved to pass the exam after spending long hours studying. Persuade. The child tried to persuade his parents to allow him to use the phone to call them after school. The child tried to persuade his parents to allow him to use the phone to call them after school. The girl used her knowledge of nutrition to persuade her friend to opt for a healthier meal. The girl used her knowledge of nutrition to persuade her friend to opt for a healthier meal. Plan. We plan to revise our business plan for the upcoming year. We plan to revise our business plan for the upcoming year. Jane plans her hiking route by studying the map beforehand. Jane plans her hiking route by studying the map beforehand. Play. They played a game of basketball yesterday. They played a game of basketball yesterday. Children love to play in the park. Children love to play in the park. Promise. I promise to help you with your project. I promise to help you with your project. I promise to take care of your pet. I promise to take care of your pet. Question. He questions the teacher to understand the complex topic better. He questions the teacher to understand the complex topic better. She questions her choices before making decisions. She questions her choices before making decisions. Put. Jane puts her soiled garments in the washing machine and sets the cycle. Jane puts her soiled garments in the washing machine and sets the cycle. Please put the book on the shelf. Please put the book on the shelf. Refuse. She refuses to eat carbohydrates due to her dietary restrictions. She refuses to eat carbohydrates due to her dietary restrictions. John refuses to indulge in a burger and opts for a nutritious meal instead. John refuses to indulge in a burger and opts for a nutritious meal instead. Remember. I remember my childhood days vividly. I remember my childhood days vividly. She remembers a lot of life scenes from her past. She remembers a lot of life scenes from her past. Rain. It rains a lot during the monsoon season. It rains a lot during the monsoon season. We will bring an umbrella in case it rains. We will bring an umbrella in case it rains. Receive. I received a gift from my friend. I received a gift from my friend. We will receive the package tomorrow. We will receive the package tomorrow. Ride. She rode the horse in the countryside. She rode the horse in the countryside. They rode the roller coaster at the amusement park. They rode the roller coaster at the amusement park. Ring. The telephone rings loudly in the house. The telephone rings loudly in the house. They rang the doorbell, but nobody answered. They rang the doorbell, but nobody answered. Sail. I learned how to sail when I was a teenager. I learned how to sail when I was a teenager. We sail across the ocean every summer. We sail across the ocean every summer. Say. Please say that again. I didn't hear you clearly. Please say that again. I didn't hear you clearly. I want to say thank you to everyone for attending the presentation. I want to say thank you to everyone for attending the presentation. See. I see a beautiful rainbow in the sky. I see a beautiful rainbow in the sky. Can you see the stars shining brightly tonight? Can you see the stars shining brightly tonight? Sell. They sell fresh fruits and vegetables at the market. They sell fresh fruits and vegetables at the market. She plans to sell old electronics, kitchenware, and collectible items. She plans to sell old electronics, kitchenware, and collectible items. Shine. She aims to shine her father's shoes to make them look brand new. She aims to shine her father's shoes to make them look brand new. The polished silverware will shine at the dinner table. The polished silverware will shine at the dinner table. Shop. Let's shop for gifts for the upcoming celebration. Let's shop for gifts for the upcoming celebration. She will shop for summer dresses and skirts to add to her wardrobe. She will shop for summer dresses and skirts to add to her wardrobe. Show. The kid girl is excited to show her excellent exam results to her parents. The kid girl is excited to show her excellent exam results to her parents. The magician will show his tricks at the party. The magician will show his tricks at the party. Ski. She will learn how to ski during her vacation. She will learn how to ski during her vacation. He used to ski competitively when he was younger. He used to ski competitively when he was younger. Snow. It will snow heavily in the mountains this weekend. It will snow heavily in the mountains this weekend. She hopes it doesn't snow during her travel plans. She hopes it doesn't snow during her travel plans. Stamp. The manager will stamp approval on the completed project proposal. The manager will stamp approval on the completed project proposal. The post office will stamp the passport with the date. The post office will stamp the passport with the date. Steal. She caught someone trying to steal her purse. She caught someone trying to steal her purse. It's not right to steal from others. It's not right to steal from others. Suggest. She will suggest a new idea for the project. She will suggest a new idea for the project. I suggest you study a little every day to prepare for your exams, dear. I suggest you study a little every day to prepare for your exams, dear. Swim. She will swim laps in the pool for exercise. She will swim laps in the pool for exercise. I love to swim in the ocean during the summer. I love to swim in the ocean during the summer. Start. The race will start at the sound of the horn. The race will start at the sound of the horn. They will start their new cafe business by cutting the ribbon during the grand opening ceremony. They will start their new cafe business by cutting the ribbon during the grand opening ceremony. Stay. He asked his dog to stay while he went inside the store. He asked his dog to stay while he went inside the store. She prefers to stay home on weekends. She prefers to stay home on weekends. Stop. The traffic aide raised the stop sign to signal vehicles to stop at the pedestrian crossing. The traffic aide raised the stop sign to signal vehicles to stop at the pedestrian crossing. He tried to stop his friend from making a hasty decision by offering some advice. He tried to stop his friend from making a hasty decision by offering some advice. Study. He needs to study for his upcoming exams. He needs to study for his upcoming exams. Let's study the problem carefully before suggesting solutions. Let's study the problem carefully before suggesting solutions. Take. Taking the phone was necessary to encourage more focus on schoolwork. Taking the phone was necessary to encourage more focus on schoolwork. He will take his prescribed medicine before going to bed tonight. He will take his prescribed medicine before going to bed tonight. Tell. They tell stories around the campfire. They tell stories around the campfire. I will tell my younger brother about the delicious cookies in the kitchen. I will tell my younger brother about the delicious cookies in the kitchen. Text. She will text her friend to confirm their meeting time. She will text her friend to confirm their meeting time. I texted him the address so he wouldn't get lost. I texted him the address so he wouldn't get lost. Think. I need some time to think about my decision. I need some time to think about my decision. He took a moment to think about the characters he wanted to include in his story. He took a moment to think about the characters he wanted to include in his story. Travel. They will travel to Europe for their summer vacation. They will travel to Europe for their summer vacation. I love to travel and explore new places. I love to travel and explore new places. Turn. He will turn the volume down on the TV. He will turn the volume down on the TV. She will turn the knob to open the door. She will turn the knob to open the door. Visit. We plan to visit our grandparents this weekend. We plan to visit our grandparents this weekend. Her mother accompanies her whenever she visits the doctor. Her mother accompanies her whenever she visits the doctor. Want. The hungry kid wants to eat spaghetti with meatballs for dinner. The hungry kid wants to eat spaghetti with meatballs for dinner. He wanted to go to the bathroom urgently after drinking a lot of water. He wanted to go to the bathroom urgently after drinking a lot of water. Understand. After the explanation, he quickly understands the concept of algebra. After the explanation, he quickly understands the concept of algebra. She understands her friend's feelings without the need for words. She understands her friend's feelings without the need for words. Use. I use my laptop to work every day. I use my laptop to work every day. The boy uses a knife to cut the steak into smaller pieces. The boy uses a knife to cut the steak into smaller pieces. Wash. We wash our clothes using detergent and water. We wash our clothes using detergent and water. You should wash fruits and vegetables before eating them. You should wash fruits and vegetables before eating them. Wait. I wait for the bus at the station every morning. I wait for the bus at the station every morning. We wait patiently in the queue at the airport security checkpoint. We wait patiently in the queue at the airport security checkpoint. Wear. I wear a jacket when it's cold outside. I wear a jacket when it's cold outside. She wears a hat to protect herself from the sun. She wears a hat to protect herself from the sun. Write. I write my thoughts in a journal to keep track of my ideas. I write my thoughts in a journal to keep track of my ideas. She will write a story for the school magazine competition. She will write a story for the school magazine competition. Hope. She hopes to pursue a career in medicine one day. She hopes to pursue a career in medicine one day. I hope that the weather will be sunny for our picnic this weekend. I hope that the weather will be sunny for our picnic this weekend. Happen. Storms happen suddenly in this region. Storms happen suddenly in this region. The snowstorm happened overnight, blanketing the town. The snowstorm happened overnight, blanketing the town. Prefer. I prefer tea over coffee in the mornings. I prefer tea over coffee in the mornings. She prefers to snack on fruits rather than processed snacks. She prefers to snack on fruits rather than processed snacks. Need. They need nutritious food to stay healthy while living on the streets. They need nutritious food to stay healthy while living on the streets. They need more time to finish the project. They need more time to finish the project. Mind. Please don't mind my dog, he's friendly. Please don't mind my dog, he's friendly. He didn't mind carrying the heavy bags when helping the girl with her groceries. He didn't mind carrying the heavy bags when helping the girl with her groceries. Pee. He peed in the bushes because there were no restrooms nearby. He peed in the bushes because there were no restrooms nearby. The puppy pees outside after every meal. The puppy pees outside after every meal. Poop. He waited for his turn to poop in the public restroom. He waited for his turn to poop in the public restroom. The cat pooped in the litter box this morning. The cat pooped in the litter box this morning. Wink. He winked to acknowledge his friend's clever comment. He winked to acknowledge his friend's clever comment. She winked playfully at the camera during the photo shoot. She winked playfully at the camera during the photo shoot. Beat. He beats the competition in almost every race. He beats the competition in almost every race. She beat cancer through a combination of treatments and a positive mindset. She beat cancer through a combination of treatments and a positive mindset. Water. I water my plants every morning to keep them healthy. I water my plants every morning to keep them healthy. Please water the garden while I finish preparing dinner. Please water the garden while I finish preparing dinner. Yawn. I often yawn when I feel tired or sleepy. I often yawn when I feel tired or sleepy. I can't help but yawn whenever I see others doing the same. I can't help but yawn whenever I see others doing the same. Whistle. She began to whistle a catchy tune as she walked down the street. She began to whistle a catchy tune as she walked down the street. The referee blew the whistle to signal the end of the game. The referee blew the whistle to signal the end of the game. Rescue. The firefighters rushed to rescue the family from the burning building. The firefighters rushed to rescue the family from the burning building. Emergency services swiftly mobilized boats and rafts to rescue residents stranded on rooftops due to the massive flood. Emergency services swiftly mobilized boats and rafts to rescue residents stranded on rooftops due to the massive flood. Lift. He can easily lift heavy weights at the gym. He can easily lift heavy weights at the gym. Can you help me lift this box onto the shelf? Can you help me lift this box onto the shelf? Slap. He felt hurt when his friend slapped him. He felt hurt when his friend slapped him. He threatened to slap the table in frustration. He threatened to slap the table in frustration. Enter. He knocked before entering the room to not disturb anyone. He knocked before entering the room to not disturb anyone. It's polite to wait for permission before entering someone's house. It's polite to wait for permission before entering someone's house. Squat. Squatting is an effective exercise for strengthening the lower body. Squatting is an effective exercise for strengthening the lower body. The fitness instructor demonstrated the proper way to squat. The fitness instructor demonstrated the proper way to squat. Snore. He tends to snore loudly when he's exhausted. He tends to snore loudly when he's exhausted. I can't sleep when someone in the room starts to snore. I can't sleep when someone in the room starts to snore. Fart. Please try to excuse yourself if you need to fart in public. Please try to excuse yourself if you need to fart in public. She tried to discreetly fart in the crowded room. She tried to discreetly fart in the crowded room. Collect. The sanitation workers collect the garbage from residential areas. The sanitation workers collect the garbage from residential areas. The children collect seashells during their beach vacations. The children collect seashells during their beach vacations. Taste. Don't forget to taste the sauce before adding it to the dish. Don't forget to taste the sauce before adding it to the dish. He could taste the hint of lemon in the tea. He could taste the hint of lemon in the tea. Suck. Babies often suck their thumbs for comfort. Babies often suck their thumbs for comfort. She used a straw to suck up the last drops of her drink. She used a straw to suck up the last drops of her drink. Smile. He managed to smile and stay optimistic. He managed to smile and stay optimistic. The children smiled brightly. The children smiled brightly. Drown. She panicked as she felt herself begin to drown in the rough sea. She panicked as she felt herself begin to drown in the rough sea. He nearly drowned in the pool before the lifeguard rescued him. He nearly drowned in the pool before the lifeguard rescued him. Sniff. He sniffed the flowers to enjoy their fragrance. He sniffed the flowers to enjoy their fragrance. The dog sniffed around the park searching for its ball. The dog sniffed around the park searching for its ball. Hide. He quickly decided to hide under the bed. He quickly decided to hide under the bed. She likes to hide behind the curtains during hide and seek. She likes to hide behind the curtains during hide and seek. Decorate. He plans to decorate the cake with frosting and edible decorations. He plans to decorate the cake with frosting and edible decorations. Every year, they decorate the house with twinkling lights for the holidays. Every year, they decorate the house with twinkling lights for the holidays. Scold. Her parents scolded her for coming home late. Her parents scolded her for coming home late. The teacher had to scold the students for not completing their homework. The teacher had to scold the students for not completing their homework. Shake. Please shake the bottle well. Please shake the bottle well. They shook hands to seal the agreement. They shook hands to seal the agreement. Punch. He got angry and threatened to punch his rival. He got angry and threatened to punch his rival. Please don't punch the wall, it could hurt your hand. Please don't punch the wall, it could hurt your hand. Spit. It's not appropriate to spit in public places. It's not appropriate to spit in public places. It's common for a toddler to spit food they don't like as they explore different tastes. It's common for a toddler to spit food they don't like as they explore different tastes. Sink. He watched the ship sink slowly into the ocean. He watched the ship sink slowly into the ocean. The boat started to sink after hitting an underwater rock. The boat started to sink after hitting an underwater rock.